You've been a very naughty boy.
Did Roland send you?
Silence! According to my list, you've not only put a perfectly fine piece of Arctic gear on your show, but you even called it an OPZ instead of an OPZ.
I'm awfully sorry, Herr Klaus. Can't you just give me a lump of coal or something?
You shall receive the hardest punishment of them all, having to use nothing but a DAW for an entire week.
Can I use Ableton?
This year's Bad Gear Christmas episode will be all about the Fruity Loops.
No! Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. DAWs are awesome, at least the ones you are familiar with. All the other ones feel like landing a plane after drinking a bottle of vodka without any prior experience as a pilot. Speaking of which, today we are going to talk about FL Studio. This DAW, arch nemesis of audio boomers my age up and most memed audio software of all time, was introduced to the world under the Fruity Loops moniker in 1997, the year that also brought us synths like the Korg Z1 and can therefore be officially considered to be vintage gear. Long story short, I will make myself the laughingstock of every FL Studio Reddit thread, completely subvert the bad gear concept and cover up my incapacity with an unhealthy amount of memes. Merry Christmas! At the first glance, everything I know about music production is wrong. All the things you would expect from a DAW are there, but the parts seem to be only loosely connected. The nucleus of the workflow is the channel rack, with its trademark step sequencer.
Is it a banger?
Which lets you select software instruments and audio files. Every element needs to be linked to the 125-channel audio mixer manually. However, they will take some mysterious back alley to the master if you don't. The arrangement window is called Playlist. It looks like a pro version of Mario Paint Composer, and if you are used to other DAWs, even basic zoom maneuvers can be a challenge. Playlist tracks are mostly independent of the rack and mixer. But you can route an entire track to a mixer channel. If the step sequencer doesn't do the trick for you, the piano roll certainly will, and it really whips the llama's ass. Instant chords, arpeggios, semi-algorithmic riff creation, humanizing, a built-in LFO, the claw machine, and I'm sure you will let me know in the comments that I didn't include your favorite feature. These heavyweights of MIDI editing aside, the workflow is so streamlined that I will be missing many of its goodies when going back to Ableton. As we are talking about workflows, the shortcuts are carved in stone, they should be your gospel, and they are a little too spread out on the keyboard for my taste. Having to leave my cozy modifier corner for opening the mixer with F9 is okay, but editing audio in FL made me use my right shift key for the very first time, and even the middle mouse button got some love. Leave a comment if you're using the multi-touch feature. Time for a little old man yells at cloud moment. Those goddamn windows. FL Studio comes with plenty of software instruments, drum synths, and samplers galore, ranging from basic to epic, utilitarian plugins, samplers in varying degrees of complexity, and almost every synthesis technique imaginable. Citrus is an FM subtractive hybrid that eats Ableton's operator for breakfast, 50 Shades of VA, Rompless, and meme synths like Cubase and Autotune with its
4,294,967,296
presets might distract you from monsters like the Additive Harmon. The plugin madness doesn't end here. Convolution effects, pitch correction, the new Luxverb sounds awesome, And although I was missing a more characterful compressor, EQ2 is totally usable. Whenever FL Studio disciples talk about their supreme DAW, two things get mentioned often. Gross beat, which is like Ableton's beat repeat on Research Chemicals, and, of course, Soundgoodizer. This let stuff pop out of the speakers effect is a total meme. It's absurdly awesome, and leave a comment if you found a way to use it in Ableton on a Mac. Speaking of, in contrast to Ableton and its CPU-hogging 80s crutch for elaborate workarounds, FL Studio is inherently modular. You can basically connect everything to everything else, which I found to be off-putting for basic routings, but opens up a whole universe of modulation possibilities and cliché EDM sidechains. For this week of unfathomable punishment, I opted for the producer version for $150. The gourmet edition goes for $3.99, and I appreciate that ImageLine didn't go full-on Metallica on software piracy, but instead offers free updates for life. Version 21 just dropped.
You don't need that.
It is stable and the internet is flooded with cult-like praise. I think we can all agree that discussions about the best DAW, which is of course Ableton Live, are completely pointless. Has time come to end FL Studio bashing? You have already heard some stock instruments in today's intro tune. I completely reprogrammed the piece and I feel like the rookie that I am. FL usually boots up with 4 iconic 808 samples preloaded. Can they actually be used in an arrangement? That's more fun than Cubase. It would be even more fun if I had managed to memorize a few shortcuts. There's definitely a learning curve, but as soon as you figure out the overall concept, banging out beats is easy. I wanna know if we can nail the typical FL sound elderly citizens detest so much by cranking Soundgoodizer to 11, completely slamming Fruity Limiter, and lets up the difficulty level a bit by playing it live in performance mode.
I knew it.
However, may I?
There are two things you can't have enough of: Soundgoodizer and Bass Stock plugins. Only post Progressive House Christmas collab.
Hating on DAWs makes no sense, unless it's logic. FL Studio, on the other hand, boasts an impressive set of features, some of which are overpowered like a Doom weapon mod, and ImageLine created a philosophy and workflow mostly detached from traditional music production. If this approach is for you and/or you grew up using FL Studio, maybe coming from a gaming background, this piece of software is the perfect choice. However, as an old-school sound guy and hardware jam freak, I am missing the more sophisticated real-time playability of Ableton and had a hard time implementing all the dirty little tricks I have developed over the decades. Herr Klaus, are you willing to lift the curse so I can go back to real gear for the last episode of the year?
Of course! I even brought along an old friend who has something very special for you.
I am beyond caring. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Check out everything Gaz Williams does because he's a total legend. Like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.
Yeah, that's perfect. Give me everything. Give me passion.